Enchanted Hunters is an awfully dramatic title for something that has the subtitle The Power of Stories in Childhood. It was written by Maria Tatar. That's Tatar. I read it in 2014. It was the first book for me in 2014, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I wrote this about it early that year. I had a medieval Japanese literature professor named Stephen Miller who once said, "Poetry analysis makes poetry mud." When this book dove deep into any of the children's books that I've read, the conclusions seemed a bit forced and muddy like that. With that being said, however, when reading the more objective, for my part, accounts of books I haven't read, it got me excited to read them now as an adult with a more discriminating eye. My feelings probably speak to the book's thematic posture that the childhood reading experience is powerful, and one will get defensive about when questioned or prodded. I wasn't blown away by this book, but I'll be adding books to my reading list based on Tatar's ideas. Also, the anecdotes of great writers regarding their own childhood reading experiences in the appendix is a treat. This book, I don't remember much about it, but I do remember that I did add specific books to my reading list that'll come up in just a couple weeks. I'm gonna read The Secret Garden, which was a direct result of me reading this and thinking about the sort of specific themes and specific things that you can get from stories in childhood. I don't remember any of the books that it made me sort of confused or worried or defensive about. But I do like that it has an appendix where they are tapping these great writers and sort of looking at these sort of anecdotal things about their experiences in childhood too. It was a nonfiction turn after reading some of the pop fiction that you've seen me talk about just recently after my MBA cohort, but it was just sort of another mix that I would put in there. I will say that I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. One of the authors that I follow on Goodreads, Neil Gaiman, wrote about it as well. He gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and he said, "Wonderful work so far," then with some dots of ellipses. So you may want to take his recommendation even more than mine. I admire him greatly. Some of my favorite books are Neil Gaiman books, so he probably has a better sense of what this book is than I do. For me, it was a little bit muddy and got a little bit too much into analysis, but I think if you are interested in some of that analytical thought process behind some of the books or the stories that you read as a child, and then maybe you wanted to start thinking about new ways, about new books, this was a good book for it. Again, it's called Enchanted Hunters, The Power of Stories in Childhood by Maria Tatar. Gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Till next.